네, 안녕하십니까. 다시 인사드리겠습니다. 2021 글로벌 ESG 포럼 사회를 맡은 아나운서 이지영입니다.
Hello, I am Lee Ji-young, the MC for Session 3. We will be sharing the information, and for this session we will discuss the global case study.
As our first presenter for this session, we have Mr. Seo Sang-hoon from 슈나이더 Electronics. Please welcome him up to the stage with a big round of applause.
반갑습니다. 슈나이더 일렉트릭에서 자동화 사업을 담당하는 서상.
Yes, hello. I am Seo Sang-hoon. I'm with the 슈나이더 Electronics.
우선 오늘 좋은 기회 주신 한국경제신문하고
First of all, I'd like to thank the Korea Economic Daily and COEX for co-hosting this wonderful forum. I think we had a very insightful morning session, talking a lot about how the Korean companies and the business community altogether has been responding to ESG future. I'd like to take my presentation time to talk about how we at 슈나이더 Electronics has been working towards ESG. Can we have the sound to the video, please?
저희 동영상인데 소개 동영상인데 이게 소리가 안 나네요.
Can somebody please check with the
저희
sound?
슈나이더 일렉트릭은 그 글로벌 에너지
In any event,
그리고
슈나이더 Electrics, we are a solution company,
최근 들어서
a global solution company, and we are introducing, or we are expanding our business to software as well. Sustainability and ESG is going to be our core competency in the years ahead.
보시는 것처럼 다양하게 저희가 활동을 하고 있고요.
So this video shows the diverse activities that we are involved in many markets with many different communities
기여를 하고 있습니다.
and making our contribution in the different sectors.
그 무엇보다 중요한 거는 저희 회사는 기존의 사업 영역에서
The most important part, I think, is that we are expanding or transforming our business area to include the sustainability business in our business scope. Since we don't have any sound, I think we can cut the video here and move right on to my presentation. COVID-19 obviously has changed a lot of things in our lives. Many countries are still struggling with its impact. Since last year, COVID-19 has brought in huge recessions as well. Although we are glad to report that in some business areas we do see signs of recovery. But what is more important is, behind COVID, behind the recession, there's the climate change that is going to impact us. Before that, we already experienced the loss of biodiversity, extreme weather patterns, and we believe that the climate change is the real next challenge that the businesses and the companies should brace itself for. So as I said, 슈나이더 is moving towards ESG, the sustainability issues. And our mission is to achieve development for everyone and sustainability by fully utilizing energy and resources. And our mission also has shifted. Our mission now is to serve as a digital partner in achieving sustainability and efficiency. In order to do that, I'd like to share two keywords with you today. The first is, of course, digital. We have more IoT devices. The numbers aren't really important because it's so huge, their growth. And the IoT devices are giving us a huge amount of data, what we call the big data nowadays. And the big data is going to go through AI and other tools to be analyzed into meaningful messages, meaningful implications. We must use all of these technology to achieve efficiency and sustainability. So analog technology alone is not going to give us the level of sustainability that we need. You are already experiencing the future or living in the future at your home, at your workplace, in the industries, with the infrastructure that you're using, and the cities that you are dwelling in. We are already using or being exposed to the smart technologies. But it is also interesting that although we see it in every part of our life already today, the scope of application of the technologies is still very, very limited. There's much more room for growth. The second keyword, the first was digital, and the second keyword that I'd like to emphasize is the electric energy. It has already been proven that electric energy is 3 times to up to 5 times more efficient. And we all know that electricity is nature friendly or environment friendly. So digital and electric energy, electric are the two keywords that we really need to rely on. However, the reality today we have is that we're still relying heavily, more than 65% of our energy sources, relying heavily on fossil fuel. The equipments and the tools that control the use of energy is still not fully digitalized. So that is another big challenge that we face. We do have good news. The good news is that the technology to change the problems or the limitations that I've just explained already exists. Schneider Electric is already either into it or making investments into that direction. So, number one, the energy that we're using is becoming more electrified. You have batteries, you have electric charged vehicles, and the change is just accelerating. E-chargers maximize or optimize the energy that we use. It reduces or minimizes any risks to the environment. We are working on making this technology even more greener. And the next is green energy, and I believe we do not need any further explanation on this particular sector. One thing regrettable is that Korea is still on a 1-digit in terms of share of renewable energy in its energy mix. But as I said, we're working on it, we're improving. Another glimpse of hope, as we find, is the digitalization of the facilities that is being used to produce and manage electricity and the energy. This is going to make things much more efficient. It's going to reduce the risk of any accidents taking place, and it is going to make everything much more efficient. So there are a lot of digital technologies being developed and deployed in the market. Another good news is that we are continuously working on eliminating the elements or features that is known to cause or affect climate change. SF6 and other elements, for example, are being eliminated. SF6 actually exists in very minimum amounts among the greenhouse gases, but SF6 is known to be a very deadly toxic gas.
많은 시장 참여자들이 이미
And many of the market players that used to work with SF6 has recognized its
기존에
danger,
가스를 썼던
and we are no exception. We are working very quickly to
전력을 차단할 수 있는
shift from equipment or facilities that used SF6 to something that is much more sustainable, something that is SF6 free.
그래서 이미 기술은 존재하고요.
So again, we already have the technology that can be used to solve the problems that we have. We just need to accelerate the process of adopting those technologies and really applying them in the market.
적인 측면을 말씀드렸고요.
So I've talked to you about the technology side. So I said there's a lot of good news for the technology side. Now let's move on to the actual business management. As you all know, ESG has already brought about much changes in the business environment. In the World Economic Forum, for example, has already cited climate change to be the #1 threat to business activities. Hedge funds like BlackRock have already incorporated climate change as the core feature of their investment decision-making process. Digitalization also creates new opportunities, and decentralized energy is going to be the future market, the market of the future.
그래서 이런 기후 변화를 대응을
So you have the climate change, you have
만들어낼 수 있는
digitalization, you have decentralized energy grid, and being able to flexibly use all of these or be very resilient in using all of these is going to be the core of business strategies in the future. The society's overall perception towards sustainability is changing day by day. More than 80% of the consumers see sustainability as a very important feature in the business activity. And even more consumers, 86% of the consumers, are saying that transparency is important, especially in relation to ESG. And I believe you already heard the presentations in the morning sessions about how our society's investments are now shifting its focus to ESG-friendly businesses and companies. I personally think this is a very big change, a very welcome change. So not just companies, but society as a whole are beginning to really see or take on more preventive attitudes towards any risks that might be associated with climate change. So I can safely say that sustainability has already become a central part of business activity. And we already see that sustainability is being directly linked to business performance, business innovation, and being more sustainable is definitely going to make businesses look more attractive to the future consumers. So if you don't have sustainability embedded in your business, you're going to lose your customers, you're going to lose your investors. Having said that, we all know that responding to climate change and being ready for sustainability is a very long journey. We, I believe, at Schneider Electric have already started like 30 years ago. So it is a very long process. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not even going to happen over a year or a 2-year period of time, unfortunately. It's going to take you much longer. You really need to prepare yourselves step by step. So that's the reality. And if I should go into a bit more detail of the reality that many Korean companies face,
벤치마크 점수가 10점이라고 보면은 한국
let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very well prepared for sustainability future, Korea still sits at 5 or 6 at best. We lack in terms of deep understanding of ESG issues. We do not have a very clear roadmap as to how we're going to achieve sustainability in the future. And even if we say, okay, let's move to the direction of sustainability, let's adopt it, we don't have, many Korean companies do not have the tools to convert the information that we have into actionable figures. So there are lots of realistic obstacles. Korean companies also face the extra challenge because many of our core businesses have their production base overseas. So when you say you want to do ESG or efficient energy management, you have to deal with 2 different governments, sometimes more. Korea still also lacks the pool, expert pool on energy management. And you don't really have that many a partner who you can work with to set up this mid to long-term roadmap, which naturally leads to challenges and difficulties of trying to implement the plans, what plans you have on the field. So we at Schneider Electric strive to be the market's role model in setting the goals and really achieving sustainability in our businesses. We have already reduced our CO2 emissions by 107 million tons. We strive to achieve zero SF6. We're going to continuously increase our portion of products, our share of products that do not harm the energy. And our goal to achieve carbon neutrality is set to year 2025. And this is not something that we just want to keep to ourselves. We really want to spread this and apply this with our partners. We want to make sure our DNA shifts to adopting sustainability. We want to make sure our businesses incorporate sustainability. We want to commit ourselves to working with the society, with the community to achieve sustainability. We want to turn our experiences into future businesses so that our partners, our collaborators can also benefit from the lessons or the benefits that we learn and gain. So as I mentioned, we have been doing this for the past 30 years and we will achieve carbon neutrality by 2025. And by 2030, we will have SBT-based net zero emission goal to be accomplished. And by 2050, we will do CO2 net zero supply network with the collaboration of our suppliers. So these are the milestones that we have for year 2020, 2025, 2030, and 2050. And last year and this year, we're continuously working on achieving the 21 SDG-related goals. And we'll be investing $10 billion in R&D by 2025.
고객사들이 그 목표를 달성하기 위해서 저희는 어떤 별도의 사업 조직이 있고요.
We have set up a separate business organization to make sure that our goals can be spread out to our partners and our customers.
저희 고객사들 대상으로 같이 진행을 하고 있는데 그게 한 7기가 정도 됩니다. 계속 늘어나고 있고요. 그리고 무엇보다 전문가 뿌리에 상당히 잘
We have a very strong expert pool. We have 7 giga volume of PPL that we're conducting with our clients.
특히 수백 명의 컨설턴트들이 각 나라에서
And we have hundreds of consultants working in the different markets with our partners, with our customers, to make sure that our goal is achieved along with our clients.
어떤 전략을 짜고 그 정도 수준에 머무는 게 아니라 그거를
And we don't want to just talk the talk. We really would like to walk the talk. So we have stage action plans set up by different stage levels that we share to our customers.
위에 보이시는 에코스트럭처 어드바이저, 네오 네트워크스.
So you have the EcoStructure Advisor, the Neo Networks, EcoStructure Micro Networks, and so forth. So all of these combined
앞서 말씀드렸던
can be implemented to achieve sustainability, to achieve energy efficiency and process efficiency.
중요한 거는 그 말씀드렸던 것처럼
But once again, I'd like to emphasize
실행할 수 있는 데까지
that it's
일렉트릭이라는 회사가
going to take some time, but we can work together, and Schneider Electric is ready
기본적으로 저희는 네 가지
to
스텝을
be your partner in this whole
협업을 하고
process.
있어서 성공에 대한 정의를 하고 있습니다.
We have 4 steps in problem solving. We define success, we set the target, we implement a program, and we secure sustainable results.
달성할 수 있게 프로그램을 만들고 그거를 실행을 합니다. 그리고
And in each of these steps, we have very detailed elements that we apply and use with our partners.
말씀드렸던 것처럼 이미 슈나이더 일렉트릭은 이런 발걸음.
So I'm proud to say that Schneider Electric has already started its journey in achieving a carbon neutrality. We have numerous gradings, indexes that show our achievements so far. We've been awarded numerous times on the work that we've done so far, and we also pledge to achieve not only the SDG but also other important indicators such as EP100, RE100, and EV100. So these global initiatives we're all a part of, and we're striving very hard to achieve these goals. I think we already covered this in our keynote speech, how we work in the areas of climate, resources, trust, equality, generation, and region as our long-term promise to achieve sustainability impact. So before I finish, I would like to share some examples that we have achieved in this regard. So the client name here is Walmart. We provided consulting for their renewable energy application.
결과적으로 월마트가 만들어내는 온실가스 배출량을 2천만 톤 감축하는 결과를 만들어냈고요.
So we succeeded in reducing the CO2 emissions from Walmart by 20 million tons. So that was a very successful project that we've done with Walmart. A second example is with Saint-Gobain from France.
사int-Gobain 같은 경우에는 제가 앞에 잠깐 말씀드렸던 어떤 실행을 위한 구체적인 솔루션, 특히 리소스 어드바이저라는.
In this case, we worked as a solution advisor. So we analyzed the different energy sources that Saint-Gobain uses, and we presented the most optimal energy usage matrix for the company.
PPA 관련돼서
In relation to PPA, we served as a coordinator for the company as well.
결과적으로 생고방하고는 저희가 10년 이상
So we have had
협업을 해오고 있고요.
a
그래서 그
decade-long
1억 달러 정도
sustainability relationship with the company, and our project volume has reached $100 million. So that's a very huge amount to be spent by Saint-Gobain on one consultancy. This third example is with Equinix. They are a data center.
마찬가지로 저희 에코스트럭처 리소스 어드바이저라는
Again, we worked as an EcoStructure Eco-Advisor, and we used our tools to
발생하는 어떤 비용에 대해서
analyze the cost from the different data resources at Equinix.
제가 정말 강조하고 싶은 거는
Here, I'd really like to emphasize that the data centers, as you know, really suck up energy. It's one of the industries that investors just would like to shy away from because they use so much energy. However, Equinix, although their energy consumption is growing every year by 40-50%, their CO2 emissions are actually reduced by 20% every year. Equinix works with Schneider Electric from the very first steps of purchasing the electricity that they use. So they are one of our major customers with some very good track record. So in order to secure sustainability and efficiency, we need to focus on digital and electrification. As I said, we already have the technology that's going to make that possible. We just need to speed up its implementation. Schneider Electric has already experienced the process. We are working with our clients to achieve their goals. We have the specific tools that have been verified and can be implemented. Lastly, I shared our cases with Walmart, Equinix, and Saint-Gobain. So if you have any further questions you'd like to hear regarding the three cases and the work that we do in general, please do not hesitate to contact me individually. Thank you very much. A big hand to 서상훈 from Schneider Electric. Thank you very much for your very detailed presentation. We'd like to remind you that the entire program is being streamed online for both Korean and English on a separate channel.